Welcome to the show Real Estate Matters. I'm your host, Brett Furman, and for 35 years, I've been helping the community write their real estate success story as broker and owner of REMAX Classic. Today, joining us via Zoom during the COVID-19 pandemic is special guest Darla DeMorrow. Darla is the owner of HeartWork Organizing, and today we'll be speaking to her about staging. Thanks for joining us, Darla. So say hello to everyone.
Thanks for having me on. I love that we can do this with our technology.
Great. So I have a ton of questions for you, and I know the audience is going to be interested in everything you have to say. So could you first start and give us some idea of explain the concept of home staging, what it is and what it's not?
So home staging is something that is going to help you sell your home faster and for a higher dollar value. Now, there are things that you can do to home stage yourself, and you can get help. You can hire folks to help you as well. But basically what home staging is repackaging your home as a beautiful, attractive, desirable product. And if you think about the way that we live, Brett, right, and no matter what store you go into, it's Target or any store you can name, we really like to see well packaged, well marketed products. And so home staging is the way to do that for your home. It's taking what used to be your home, but the moment you put it on the market, it becomes a product, right? And so it's taking your property and turning it into the next house that your buyers can't refuse. What it's not, let's just start out there, is it's not decorating and it's not organizing. Now, those two things may play into what you're doing, but it's actually the step beyond organizing. And it's definitely not decorating. We say that decorating is for your personal taste, and here we're appealing to a very wide market.
Got it. Okay, so Darla, what about now with regard to, COVID-19? And we have some home selling clients that don't want anyone to come inside the home. Are there any options that you have to do your staging remotely? And if so, how would that work? How would you do that?
Absolutely. We're all doing what we can to keep ourselves, our family, and our associates safe right now. And so when we stage virtually, we start out by doing exactly what you and I are doing right now, Brett. There's actually 3 phases of home staging. One is getting an assessment. In my case, I prepare a written report for my clients on what needs to be done and how to do it. And we do that all virtually. I've been doing that since the pandemic started, and we do that for home stagers and for other parts of our business as well. So that's not a problem, right? People know how. They have a smartphone, they can walk me around the home, they can send me still pictures, static pictures through email, and I can still prepare that report for them. And that's great for DIYers, because if you do want to save some money, at least you have a professional report that tells you what to do in what order. I always tell people, if you had an open checkbook and tons of time, you would, do everything to your home. But the reality is we all have limited time, limited money, limited energy. So one of the things that the home staging report will help you do is define exactly what you're going to do, where you're going to spend your money. It's all bang for the buck. We want you to get the biggest bang for your buck. So you're going to do the highest impact changes first, and then work your way down the list. The second part of home staging is actually doing the work. You may decide to do some of it yourself. You may decide to hire us in or hire a different contractor to do some work. We are still working in people's homes, especially if the house is vacant. And believe it or not, there's more of those than you would imagine. So it might either be vacant because somebody's already moved, or because they have a vacation home to go to and they're going to be out of the house for a couple of weeks. We can go in and do work during that time. It's a really easy way to keep everybody safe. And then the third thing that you might actually do is some contractor repairs, which goes beyond the scope of what my company does. but that may still be, you may have to fix some thresholds or get some landscaping done. So contractor work is kind of the third piece of home staging.
Got it. And I've had the pleasure, Darla, I can speak from personal experience of working with you. And what I've noticed, which is kind of the aha moment, is that when you finish and it gets done, so many times do I hear the client say, "Oh my gosh, like this is fantastic. I wish I had done that sooner." So I guess my question really is, when is it the right time to do staging? Do you recommend like 5 years before you're selling, or is it just something to do for the sale process?
Yes, I love that question, and I know you and I are on the same page here. The saddest day of of my job with a client is when I hear them say, "Oh, I wish I'd have done this sooner," because that means that they're ready to turn the keys over to a new buyer, but they haven't been able to enjoy that particular house in the way that they're enjoying it right now. So they don't get to enjoy that for very long. So yeah, the minute you think, you know what, we might want to sell sometime soon. I work with clients who are 5 years away from selling. They know they're going to downsize. They haven't picked out their new house, but you know what? They know that they need to update the bathroom, or they know that they're thinking, the living room's a little cluttered, or the basement is crazy. Whatever the situation is, you can start staging your home, or just start organizing. Again, that's kind of the precursor to staging, is getting to the point where you can make some changes and start doing that 5 years, 2 years, a year before. At about a year before, if you are properly in the position to do home staging, that is awesome. That means nobody has to feel like they're rushed or under the gun, and you get to enjoy the changes that you're making in the home, which also might inform how you live in your next house.
Interesting, because I follow this in my real estate business. I also believe, like I tell my home seller clients to start a year in advance. Those are the clients I like the best because we can make the most improvement and get them the highest price in the shortest period of time by doing all these things well in advance. So I love your comment.
Now, that
So
doesn't change the fact that if I only have a week or a month,
okay,
and I don't say call me the week before you're going to list, right? Because then we have a scheduling issue. But
gosh,
if once you're scheduled, you only have a week to give me, I can absolutely, and in fact, most of our staging engagements take place between 1 week or excuse me, 1 day and 5 days. Okay. I don't actually need very long to do the work, but the things that you may want to do, like changing countertops or getting new carpet, those kinds of things may also be part of your big, larger plan. And so those are the kinds of things that you want to have on the board, on the planning boards way beforehand. My work, my staging work, actually usually only takes between a day and 5 days.
hmm. So talk to me a little bit. I'm an analytical. I analyze everything. I look at real estate statistics. I see what's happening in the marketplace. I'm doing a study right now. We're looking at the luxury home market to try to figure out what's going on and where's it going. Tell me some of the analytics, if you could, on staging. Like, does it really work, first of all?
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
Yeah. So I've been in this business for 15 years. And when you ask me, can we work with people remotely? I've been doing it before it was cool. Okay.
I love
So 15 years ago, we didn't have Zoom. We didn't have this kind of video back and forth. We were literally just sending pictures through email. And so back 15 years ago, one of the very first stats that I learned from several organizations. I'm a member of professional organizations, and
okay.
all of us are stagers, right? So anybody who's a professional, if you're thinking about hiring a stager, me or somebody else, ask them, are you a member of a professional organization? So the answer for me for yes, but is yes. But
Got
go
it.
back 15 years ago, one of the very first stats I learned from one of my organizations was staged homes sell faster, twice as fast as unstaged homes. Now you talk about days on market, DOM, and days on market, goes up and down. It's a barometer of how fast houses in any particular area are selling. And I love that. Let's talk numbers, right?
Yes.
So if your days on market is on average. I don't mean to put you on the spot. Do you know what it is right now?
Yeah. So for our actual office or for the marketplace, which one?
For our office, let's keep it real local.
For the office, we're going to run, and right now, because things are moving like very rapidly, I'm going to say 35 days.
I was going to say it's somewhere around 40. Last I heard was 44. But what that means is, on average, a house that is completely average would be in that, 35 to 40 days, right?
Okay.
What we want to see is that our staged homes are selling on average or fewer days on market, right? You always have the homes that are out there that'll be 90 days, 100 days, more than that. And those homes aren't ready to be on the market. The reason they're on that long is they're either priced wrong or they're not presented properly. And if they're not presented properly, that usually means they're not staged and people are not finding them attractive, or they're finding kind of fatal flaws in the house. And usually it's something like, oh my God, I can't stand that screaming pink carpet, or I can't figure out how to get 4 kids in this 5-bedroom house. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's not set up that way. So these are things that we can actually fix in staging. And that brings, it brings the days on market for your particular home way down. In fact, most of my homes, let's talk numbers.
Okay.
Most of my homes get an offer or multiple offers within 5 days.
That's awesome.
And I will tell you, the one that we just put up had actually 2 offers in one day, 24 hours. They got 2 offers. They were both really close to, just under, but really close to list. Right. And they're closing on the one offer imminently. So this is, it's not, oh, somebody out there trying to sell me something. If you think about you and what you like, do you like to go into a thrift store where everything's kind of thrown onto the floor? Or, even if it's a nice thrift store, they're usually not nicely presented like a Target or a Nordstrom's or any other store. If you think about what you like and what you respond to, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to set up your house to be so attractive to your buyers that they say, oh, when can I move in? Honey, get me the pen. We need to make an offer.
That's an excellent answer, and I appreciate it. So, Darla, in the staging world, what could you tell me about? Are you just staging like the inside of the home, or what about like the outside? What about like the landscaping and the front door and the front path and how the home presents when you pull up in the car? Does that enter into your process, and is that something you also look at as well?
First impressions are everything.
Okay.
So yeah, I start the staging assessment, which is my written report. I start that from my car.
Okay.
And I continue it all the way up to the front door and then into the home. And the staging assessment that I do actually has a section for each room inside the home. Sometimes there's a storage area that you wouldn't consider a room that gets assessed as well. And then yes, front yard and backyard as well. So every area in the home gets assessed and gets a score, and then you get the detail on what you might need to do to that. Now, that just because everything gets a score doesn't mean you're going to work on everything or make a change to every single room or area inside outside, but it does help you understand where your trouble spots are. What I always tell clients when they're looking at how to spend their time and money is you're going to maximize the good things about your home, and you're going to eliminate or minimize the negatives that a buyer might come away with. You don't want them to be stuck with the negative. What you want is a buyer who drives up, and I kid you not, this is how we bought this house that I'm sitting in right now here in Wayne. You want somebody to drive up to the curb and go, honey, I think this is the one, and then you want them to walk across the front door and go, ooh, this is nice. Let me see more. And my goal as a stager is that every threshold you step over, every room you step into, you want the couple or the buyer going, ooh, this is nice. I want to see the next one. You don't want them stopping midway through their tour through your home. And these days, of course, the first place you're going to tour your home is online. You don't want them stopping in a room going, what is going on with that wallpaper? Or does someone sleep in here? Or, I can't really understand how the dining room connects to the kitchen. Like, are they on a different level? You don't want people stopping and wondering why something looks weird with your house.
You mentioned the score. I found that interesting. And how would you relate the score you would give like rooms to how about like return on investment for like if you got to like the kitchen, are you telling people to put a new kitchen in and will they get that return on investment? And what about like bathrooms and how about paint and how
Yeah.
about carpet? You have different like thresholds and
Yeah.
analytics you use in that regard?
Yeah, there are a couple of things actually. One is, and I think you're familiar with this, Remodelers
Yes,
Magazine
yes, I follow
has,
it.
okay, so this is, big aha moment for people a lot of times. I think it's the National Remodelers Association.
Yes.
But anyway, it's Remodelers Magazine, has a website out. And is it remodel.com? It's something really simple like that. I should have looked it up ahead of time. Anyway, they do something which is called the National, oh, it's the return on it. You know what? I'm sorry. What's that?
It's different parts of the country. So you can go
Yeah.
into Philadelphia and you can go into the Northeast and you can look at how things are performing. So that's
Yeah.
something you would use to tell your client, you know what, the kitchen, you're only going to get 55 cents. Let's look at other things besides changing the whole kitchen. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, and I'm blanking out on TV here, and this is never good. But anyway, it's the return on investment index. Okay, if you literally just Google Remodelers Magazine and return on investment index, they do it every year, and you're exactly right, Brett. What they do is overall for the whole country, and then by region, they will list your highest return on investment activities that you could do in your house. One of the very high return on investment activities, surprisingly, is refreshing or putting in a new garage door, for example. People are like, what? I wouldn't think. I would think that I'd have to tear out an old kitchen. Okay, not the case. If you tear out a kitchen, if you start tearing out anything, actually, that from a staging standpoint, I do not want you demolishing anything. Because as soon as you start demolishing,
Right.
taking a sledgehammer to anything, you're going to find problems behind those walls. And that is not going to be fun, right? It's not the time you want to be dealing with that.
Yeah, I've done a
So,
bunch of those projects and I can speak to that exactly.
no, we've all gone through it. It's bad. Okay, so whether it's a bathroom or a kitchen, first of all, your bathrooms and kitchens do sell houses. But what I tell people on kitchens is your return on investment's about 86%, okay, for a new kitchen, which is another way of saying as soon as you put in a new kitchen, you've lost 15% of your investment, period. Done, gone. You will not get that back, okay? So what we want to do, the number that I use is 3-to-1, which means for every $1 that you put in for staging, I want you to get $3 back.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So we're not going to be demolishing anything. If your home inspector doesn't say it needs to come out, it's not coming out. I can work magic with paint, with new finishes that don't have to be, have a sledgehammer anywhere near them. I can actually do magic with just floor placement of where the furniture sits. And I don't know if we're going to be able to cut in the pictures on this show or not, but I have some before and afters of a bedroom, for example. It was used as a home office, not really used very well at all. And in fact, it was so small, it looked like a closet. And everybody that walked in said, nice closet. Glad you set it up as a home office. And Brett, and everybody I think that considers putting their home on the market, if you lose a bedroom, you've lost what, $20,000 right off the top.
Or more.
Yeah. So I said to this couple, we're going to make this a bedroom again. And they said, no, it's too small. Nobody's going to buy it. Well, can of paint and I created a bed out of nothing. It's one of my home staging secrets.
I've seen that.
And
I've actually seen that. I'm very
you have seen it. It worked.
Yes.
So we set this up and it became a 4-bedroom home again. And actually you worked on that one with me so you did see it. But that was an example of, you can't just walk away from a space and say, oh, well, we won't call it a bedroom. It had it had everything a bedroom needed, which is a closet and a light, a window. And it absolutely could have been a nursery or, big enough for a small child, and a twin bed. There's plenty of room in there once we got all the junk out. So that's an example of, when you don't want to try and make a house something it's not. You just want to make your house the best version of itself that it can be. Another example, right in that, you asked about kitchens, so I just want to bring up another house here in the area. The realtor came to me, and actually it was a client, long-term client. He came to me and said, I think I'm selling the house. Can you come and help me pick out paint? And I said, absolutely not, because your house will not sell with the kitchen that you have. Please let me fix the kitchen for you. And he said, well, my realtor says I have to tear it out and get new. I have to put granite in it. And I said, no. You absolutely can't do that, because you're going to have a mess behind those walls, and nobody needs that right now. So I said, if you give me a budget to refresh everything, we will not tear anything out. I promise you we'll fix it all, and you will sell for your list price. Well, the realtor told me that this property, where it sits, should be going for $550,000. It was a shocker to me.
Okay.
But because it's not in great condition, we have to sell it for $499. Now, right now, you and I are going $50,000. We want to recapture that, right?
Yes.
So I said to the homeowner, can you give me $10,000? I will fix everything in your house. I will fix the torn carpet. I will fix the kitchen that nobody wants to touch. I will fix the asbestos on the floor. I know how to do all of this stuff, and we're not going to renovate anything. And so again, if we can cut those pictures in of the before and after on this particular kitchen, we kept the same cabinets, we kept the same countertop. We did bring in new appliances, so that's a couple $1,000 right there. But listen, if somebody comes into a kitchen, an old kitchen, and a brand new refrigerator in there, they think it's a new kitchen. So for $1,000 new refrigerator, you have a new kitchen. Perception is reality. So it's totally worth it to bring in $1,000 new refrigerator. We probably spent $600 on the stove, and I think I bought a new microwave for this one too, so we could get the microwave off, the old microwave, the 30-year-old microwave, off the counter and get it mounted properly above the stove. That in that case, I'll finish the story really quickly. I had about a $10,000 budget. They sold it for $550, and it never went on the market. The first people that saw it the day before it was supposed to go on MLS listing, and they said, we want it full price, done. He never had to show it.
So that's a case of return on investment that shows, like, it almost seems like people would be crazy not to do. Are there times when you go into homes and you say, why am I here? Or there's nothing really I can add value to? Or is there always something you can tweak and change and do?
There's always something, because even in really great homes that are decorated beautifully, you're not appealing to the mass buyer, you're appealing to the people that live there. And so there's always something that we can do. There have been times when all I've had to say is, you've got the sofa really on totally the wrong wall, and you need to rehang the art. And, that's a day's worth of work. I can remember one story that this is a few years ago now, but the home had been on the market for 6 months, no showings, no interest, nothing. And I went in and I said to the family, we really need to change some things up. The window treatments need to come down. And they said, oh, you can't. They said, you can't do that, because this was the model home for our development. It was professionally decorated, but missed a beat. And they said, yeah, that was 20 years ago. Now, trends have changed in 20 years ago. Yes. If you have the professionally decorated model from 20 years ago, it's not going to appeal to today's buyers. So again, quick end to the story, jump forward about 3 days. And we made all the changes that we needed to. No construction. A lot of it was changing the window treatments, painting, taking down some wallpaper, doing a little bit of paint, changing the floor arrangement so we could, show it off to maximize the space. And that house got an offer that weekend. So I finished staging on a Friday. They got an offer on Saturday. And by Sunday, it was a done deal. The homeowner said, I don't know why we waited so long. Now, this was a house that had sat on the market for 6 months, no interest whatsoever. So, even a nice home, even a home that has a professional touch, still can be staged.
It's funny, it brings up, I remember, Darla, you had been called in. I had a property that I was referred to, and it had been sitting on the market for a long time. I won't go into all that, but bottom line, it was a historic home. And I'll never forget, like, you took this home that was from, let's call it 1800s, and you made it work for the family of 2019. And it was just, and it sold in like, they had no showings, no offers. I think we sold it in like a week and a half or something when you finished it, which was amazing.
Yeah, well, you had some additional marketing on that too, which was great. You know, you showcased it as a historic property, but you're right. I mean that the people that were living there were really proud of the fact that it was a historic property and they had
Yeah.
sort of old-fashioned furnishings in there, and we just had to really show how a modern family could live in there. So that was really important.
Wonderful. Darla, this was phenomenal. I am so grateful to have you as a guest. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And again, thanks to Darla DeMorrow. Once again, I'm your host, Brett Furman. For more information or to get a free copy of my book, What You Really Need to Know About Selling Your Home, you could visit me at www.brettfurman.com. And Darla, you could visit Darla DeMorrow at www.heartworkorg.com. Did I say that right, Darla?
You did. And that just brings up, if you don't mind me saying that, if you're not ready to stage your home right now, you should be probably thinking about organizing it, because that, again, is something that you can enjoy every single day of this year, because home is where everything happens right now. So if you're not ready to make big changes, then get organized. We can help with that too, in the same way, virtually, safely, and, virtual organizing, but real results.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone stays safe and stay tuned for the next edition of Real Estate Matters.